Welcome to Primal Armor, a podcast centered on helping each and every listener strive for a healthier tomorrow. I'm your host, Jeff Kimple, and I'll be covering every aspect within the field of health, helping you build that strong foundation for improving your physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, and more. It's time to take your personal wellness into your own hands, and Primal Armor is going to help you reach those goals. I just want to thank you for taking the time today to tune in and listen to today's topic. Enjoy. Before we get started into the episode, I just want to take a few seconds to thank today's sponsor, Anchor Podcasts. They allow me to create and edit these podcasts for you guys. They're also the ones who distribute this podcast to other platforms such as Spotify and the Apple Podcast app on your phone, so you guys can listen to it anywhere at any time. It's everything needed all in one app. I encourage you all to get started today. Go download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm and follow the podcast. Welcome back, everybody. For episode 23, we have another viewer submitted question that I think is very important. This week, I got asked, which is more important, your physical health or your mental health? The reason I think both of these are important is because they both contribute a whole lot to your overall health and well-being. And they tend to be something that a lot of people struggle with, whether it's one or the other or even both. And that's why when you see a lot of just different exercise programs that are out there, you'll see things like yoga and Pilates, and they always refer to things as mind and body together because they're trying to connect them and stimulate them both at the same time. As for myself, if you've ever listened to any of my episodes on this podcast, or if you know me personally, you know how biased I am towards the side of physical health. The reason I'm so biased in that aspect is because, one, I do enjoy it, and I find it really fun. But two, it's because I understand the benefits that come along with physical activity in your daily routine, and I want to cash in on all those benefits. But sometimes, I might not just be very straightforward with each one of them, such as its effects on mental health. Therefore, that's why I want to discuss this in more detail in today's episode. I believe there's no right answer to which one should be considered more important. The two shouldn't be considered as separate, but they should be considered as linked together, so you can realize the benefits each one has towards each other, as well as how they're actually connected. Obviously, mental health is a very big deal. The most obvious connection or link between mental health and physical health is illustrated in a person's longevity. There are so many studies out there that have found that someone who suffers with mental health challenges, such as depression and anxiety, tend to live a whole lot shorter lives than those who do not have these conditions. Depression has been linked with a 50% increased chance in dying from cancer and a 67% increased chance in dying from heart disease. These conditions are some of the leading causes of death around the world today. So if a mental health problem really has that big of an impact on a person's physical health, we really need to just dive deep down to figure out what can be done to help. One reason these health conditions seem to skyrocket is because unhealthy habits such as smoking, drug use, and lack of exercise are correlated with mental health issues. So habits such as these tend to take over a person's lifestyle to try to replace stress and anxiety due to their mental health struggles. And there are so many things that are believed to just contribute to mental health problems. The root cause of them are due to things such as environmental and social factors such as stress and trauma, but genetics also play a role as well. Certain examples such as these tend to cause the body to just go down a whole chain of chemical reactions and imbalances. These chemical imbalances occur when there's too much or too little of these chemicals in the brain called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are natural chemicals that help facilitate communication between your brain and another part in the rest of your body. So when these are out of whack, the body is unable to function properly. For example, depression is the result of having too little of serotonin in the body. Incorporating exercise into your daily routine boosts serotonin levels in the brain, and it increases overall sense of well-being. And it also helps improve appetite and sleep cycles, which are often negatively affected by things such as depression. There's been plenty of research that has shown how much of a positive impact that exercise can have towards mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. But that's the thing, it can have an impact. It may not fix the underlying issues that actually cause the imbalance in the first place. If there's a slight imbalance in the chemical levels in the brain, something as minor as exercise to boost the chemical production in the brain may be enough to help and fix it or even reverse the problem. But it's not always that simple. There are sometimes life traumas and or genetics that play into that role of mental health issues that simply cannot be fixed with exercise alone. And that's when professional help should be sought out. In this way, exercise and mental health can be connected as a means of helping a problem, but not always fixing it. Exercise is not always the answer. It just might help lessen the symptoms. Another way physical health and mental health can be connected can kind of be sort of viewed in a negative light. These days, you see all over the TV, all over magazine covers, all over social media, and basically everywhere you look, that a person's body is supposed to be looked at and portrayed in a certain way. Guys are supposed to be seen to have killer six-pack abs, ripped and dainty arms, and not an ounce of body fat on them. Women are portrayed in the same way, as needing to have these beach-ready bikini bodies with no body fat on them as well, but still having curves in all the right places. This in itself has created mental issues and countless amounts of people that feel like they aren't good enough since they just don't have that look. They don't look that certain way. The sad thing is, most of those people you see in those pictures like that don't look that way either. They just feed off the insecurities of others to try and sell products or get followers. And they say things such as, I take this product, I got ripped in 90 days, and they look at you to try to buy in and want to try that to look like that. But Photoshop does wonders, because most people don't look one bit like that. And even if they do, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, it takes a lifetime commitment that isn't really realistic. And they're just in the limelight, and they make the type of money that allows them to live a life like that. For the average human though, that just isn't realistic. Also, when have you ever heard of someone posting a bad picture of themselves? They always have to get the perfect lighting and the perfect angle, so you actually aren't seeing what is the true them. So unfortunately, reasons like these cause people to have developed this thing called body dysmorphia. Basically, what that is, it's you view yourself and your physical appearance in a negative light, or you only see the flaws in yourself no matter what you look like. And due to that fact, people admire these celebrities' bodies that they see, and that's just totally unrealistic. And this is a growing issue because it's something that's just not attainable. Experts say that the only way past this is with therapy and counseling, which I can agree with that. That's the best and most reasonable way of getting past this problem. But I do think that there's another way that can just help solve this problem. I myself have struggled with this in the past. I was very into CrossFit when I started my fitness journey. If you don't have much experience with that, just look up some images on Google right now of people in the CrossFit world. You'll see that the women look more muscular and more lean than most men out there today, and the men look like they could just be ready to be cast in the movie of 300. With me just being in my late teens and early 20s, with not too much responsibility in life yet, I felt like I needed to live that life and look exactly like that. And because of that, I literally spent an excess of 6+ hours a day in the gym every single day. Multiple workouts a day, eating no food at all to try to lose weight, and trying to stay as lean as I possibly could. But no matter what I did, I just wasn't big enough, and I wasn't lean enough, and I wasn't happy with my life because I just didn't look like that. And I couldn't do anything more. Every single thing that I did was to look like that. Everything I ate, how much sleep I'd get, proper recovery, and hours of exercise every single day, and it still wasn't enough. And I quickly realized that it just wasn't possible for me to attain that look that I tried to for years and years. And I battled that body dysmorphia throughout the later years of my high school, all the way through college. And that's when I finally figured out what worked for me. When I went to college, I studied exercise and nutrition so in depth. But at that time, I was really just trying to attain the type of body appearance that I wanted and nothing more. But the farther and farther that I went on in my education and the more I learned, I started to realize the deep science behind exercise and what it does for your overall health and well-being. which just helped me change my mindset of wanting to exercise and eat right for aesthetics, to live more of a life that just was focused on my overall health and for me being healthier, so then I could live my life to the fullest that I could. And once I realized that I wanted to focus on exercise and nutrition more for my overall health and well-being so I could live longer, to experience more than just caring how I looked in the mirror and to others, that's when I really started to actually become happy in my life. And that, I know, won't help everyone out there, because body dysmorphia is a very serious thing. There are still certain days when I struggle with it, but I know for firsthand, and for that, that's why I just said reaching out for professional help is always the best option, but this might help. I just really want to get the word out there, and that's kind of why I created this podcast, is to try to just make people more educated, because that's what really helped me become happier with my life and learn a lot more of this situation of body dysmorphia. Is the more educated I got, the less I struggle with it. But this is why I tend to connect physical health and mental health together, rather than seeing this one as more important than the other. Having bad mental health can affect your physical health by having a lack of exercise to even excess exercise, as there was in my case. It can be even the cause of a lot of eating disorders due to someone just wanting to look a certain way in the mirror. But also having bad physical health can affect your mental state. If a person doesn't take advantage of exercising regularly to release these chemicals and hormones in the body, such as endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and others, then the body will continue down a path of irregular chemical imbalances that will ultimately affect your mental health and well-being. Each one goes hand in hand with each other and affect each other in similar ways. Overall, health and wellness should be the focal point for everyone, so you can't just focus on one without the other. I'm no mental health professional by any means, but I've done my fair share of research and my fair share of counseling myself on the topic. That I just want you guys to feel comfortable to reach out to me if you feel the need for any help. As for physical health, that's my passion and my expertise, so definitely reach out to me if you have any questions in that regard. I definitely want to go more in depth about the science behind mental health issues in the future, and just other ways to try and cope and work through problems. But I really just wanted to use today to shine a light on mental health and how it's no more or less important than your physical health. It's just not something that you can neglect and be fine with. Make sure that you're giving adequate effort and improving both aspects of your life. And be on the lookout for more episodes regarding this topic. And with that, I'll talk to you guys in the next podcast, and just make sure over the next week you're really focusing on both.